Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm India-Pak coming up in the next 30 minutes. India-Pakistan agrees to continue confidence-building measures aimed at reducing alertness levels along the borders. The two sides decide to carry forward the understanding reached in DGMO-level talks on May 10th. Delhi International Airport Limited cancels license to Turkish company Celebi for ground handling and cargo operations. Adani Airport terminates partnership with China-based Dragon Pass. Both decisions taken amid national security concerns. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds first ever telephone conversation with his Afghan counterpart. Thanks Afghanistan for condemning the Pahalgam terror attack, affirms India's commitment to carry forward development works in Afghanistan. Russia and Ukraine to hold first peace talks in 3 years in Istanbul in the absence of top leaders. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio downplays expectations for a peace breakthrough. Barcelona claims 28th LaLiga title with 2-0 win against Espanyol. And on to the details now. The Indian Army on Thursday said that in line with the talks held between the Director General of Military Operations of India and Pakistan on May 10th, the two sides have agreed to continue implementing confidence-building measures aimed at reducing alertness levels along the line of control in other sensitive sectors. The DGMOs of India and Pakistan on Monday held talks over a dedicated hotline to discuss ways to prevent inimical military actions and consider immediate steps to reduce troop deployments along the borders and forward areas. The recent de-escalation comes after India's Operation Sindoor, which saw precise strikes on suspected terror infrastructure in Pakistan earlier this month. The strikes carried out in response to the Pahalgam terror attack reportedly targeted several key Pakistani military installations. And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday reiterated India's stance on Pakistan, categorically stating that talks between the two nations could only take place regarding dismantling of terror infrastructure and vacating Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
The only thing which remains to be discussed on Kashmir is the vacation of illegally occupied Indian territory in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We are open to discussing that with Pakistan.
Well, Dr. Jaishankar took a strong stance against Pakistan's terror infrastructure and said the country had a list of terrorists that needed to be handed over.
Our relations, our dealings with them will be bilateral and strictly bilateral. That is a national consensus for many years, and there is absolutely no change in that consensus that dealings with Pakistan will be bilateral. Talks with Pakistan. I think the Prime Minister made it very clear that the only talks with Pakistan will be on terror. That Pakistan has a list of terrorists who need to be handed over. They have to shut down the terrorist infrastructure. They know what to do. We are prepared to discuss with them what is to be done on terrorism. Those are the talks which are feasible.
Well, Dr. Jaishankar also said that the Indus Waters Treaty will continue to remain in abeyance until Pakistan puts an end to cross-border terrorism.
The Indus Waters Treaty is held in abeyance and will be continued to be held in abeyance until cross-border terrorism by Pakistan is credibly and irrevocably stopped.
Also, the External Affairs Minister spoke about support which India received from international community during Operation Sindoor.
We actually got a lot of international support. Many ministers, many leaders called up PM, many ministers called me up. We had a Security Council resolution which very clearly said that the perpetrators of the attack should be held accountable. And on May 7th morning, we held them accountable through the action which was taken through Operation Sindoor.
Also, India welcomed the Afghan regime's rejection of attempts to create distrust between the two countries during External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's first interaction with Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi. In his first ever conversation, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on X wrote, and I quote, "Good conversation with Acting Afghan Foreign Minister Mavlavi Amir Khan Muttaqi, deeply appreciate his condemnation of the Pahalgam terrorist attack, welcomed his firm rejection of recent attempts to create distrust between India and Afghanistan through false and baseless reports, underlined our traditional friendship with the Afghan people and continuing support for their development needs, discussed ways and means of taking cooperation forward," unquote. Well, this is also the first political level contact and conversation since the Taliban captured power in Kabul in August 2021. In January this year, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri met Muttaqi in Dubai. A nationwide outreach effort, the 11-day-long Tiranga Yatra, which began across India on Tuesday, is weaving through cities, towns and villages, reigniting a collective pride in our national identity. The Yatra honors the courage and sacrifice of India's armed forces. The zeal of Tiranga Yatra was also seen in Bhopal when Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav addressed a gathering after participating in the Tiranga Yatra, which commenced from Roshanpura Square in Bhopal. Carrying the tricolour in their hands, representatives from various communities and a large number of citizens enthusiastically took part in the Yatra. The Chief Minister asserted that no force can stop India's progress. Democracy is growing stronger. Well, India has revoked the security clearance of Turkish ground handling firm Celebi Airport Services India Private Limited with immediate effect. In an order issued on Thursday, the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security said that the decision was taken in the interest of national security. The security clearance for this company had been approved by the BCAS Director General in November 2022. Celebi Aviation provides passenger handling, flight operations, cargo and postal services, as well as management of aero bridges and warehouse services at airports across 9 cities, including Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Goa, Cochin and Kannur. In compliance with the directive from BCAS, Delhi International Airport Limited has formally ended its association with Celebi entities responsible for ground handling and cargo operations at Indira Gandhi International Airport. Also, Adani Airport Holdings has ended its partnership with Chinese digital airport platform Dragon Pass that provided access to airport lounges with immediate effect. As a result, Dragon Pass members will no longer be able to access lounges at airports managed by the Adani Group, the Hyderabad-based company said in a statement on the 15th of May. And one of India's premier universities, Jamia Millia Islamia, has now suspended its memorandum of understanding with any institution that is affiliated with Turkey government with immediate effect. In a statement posted on X on Thursday, the institute said, and I quote, "Due to national security considerations, any memorandum of understanding between Jamia Millia Islamia New Delhi and any institution affiliated with the government of Republic of Turkiye stands suspended with immediate effect until further orders. Jamia Millia Islamia stands firmly with the nation." And moving on, a nuclear power without responsibility can prove to be a potential threat not only to its neighbors or adversaries but to the entire humanity. So is Pakistan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday called out Pakistan for nuclear blackmail, raising the question whether nuclear weapons were safe in the hands of a rogue nation. DD India's Raghav Kumar Jha gives you an insight into Pakistan's nuclear doctrine, its irresponsible behaviour and the UN's provision of sanctions on nuclear programs of such a country.
Nuclear arsenals in rogue hands, or an unstable nation, or in a terror zone is a serious threat to humanity. In fact, similar is the concern now for many as far as the nuclear stockpiles lying in Pakistan is concerned. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, during his visit to Indian Army's 15 Corps headquarters at Badami Bagh in Srinagar, said, "The whole world has seen how irresponsibly Pakistan has threatened India." Questioning the safety of nuclear weapons in the hands of Pakistan, India's Defence Minister said Pakistan's nuclear weapons should be taken under the supervision of the International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA.
आज श्रीनगर की धरती से मैं पूरी दुनिया के सामने यह सवाल उठाना चाहता हूं कि क्या ऐसे गैर जिम्मेदार और रोग नेशन के हाथों में परमाणु हथियार सुरक्षित हैं? मैं दुनिया के सामने यह सवाल खड़ा करना चाहता हूं। मैं मानता हूं कि पाकिस्तान के एटमी हथियारों को IAEA इंटरनेशनल एटॉमिक एनर्जी एजेंसी की निगरानी में लिया जाना चाहिए। मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा और साफ तौर पर कहना चाहूंगा।
Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already made it crystal clear that India won't tolerate any terrorist activity under the shield of nuclear blackmail, and the nation will give a befitting reply on its own terms to any such misadventures. Therefore, amidst the reality that even UN-designated terrorists are roaming freely in Pakistan, the question that arises now is, what's Pakistan's nuclear policy? What are the underlying threats? And can UN impose sanctions on its nuclear assets and programs in the backdrop of the country harboring terror hubs? Let's dive a bit deeper into the realities. Since testing nuclear weapons in 1998, Pakistan has never formally declared an official nuclear doctrine. If there is a nuclear war between Pakistan and India, Pakistan will most likely start it because India has declared a no first use policy or NFU. But Pakistan has made no such commitments. There is strategic ambiguity too. Pakistan has never officially released a comprehensive policy statement on its nuclear weapons use, giving it flexibility to potentially deploy nuclear weapons at any stage of a conflict, as it has threatened to do so in the past. Experts widely believe that Islamabad's non-transparency is strategic and meant to act as a deterrence to India's superior conventional military strength rather than countering India's nuclear might. Now let us try to understand what's the process of UN sanctions and can it be imposed on Pakistan's nuclear program. To impose sanctions on any country over its nuclear program, the issue must be raised at the UN Security Council or UNSC. The Council, of course, can take up matters that are considered a threat to international peace and security, and it has the authority to pass binding resolutions, including sanctions. However, applying this process to Pakistan presents significant challenges. Pakistan is not a signatory to the Non-Proliferation Treaty or NPT, which makes it harder to accuse Pakistan of breaching any global nuclear treaty obligations. In addition, any move to impose sanctions would need support from at least 9 of the 15 UNSC members and no vetoes from the 5 permanent members. Raghav Kumar Jha for DD India.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Nirav Modi's bail bid rejected again. UK court denies 10th appeal amid ongoing extradition fight. Suspect in Pataz miners massacre arrested in Colombia as Peru struggles with rising violence. And Meta asks a federal judge to dismiss FTC's antitrust case over social media monopoly. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm India-Pak and moving on. Russian President Vladimir Putin declined to attend planned peace talks with Ukraine in Turkiye, opting instead to send a lower-level delegation. The head of the Russian delegation, presidential advisor Vladimir Medensky, said he expects Ukraine's representatives to turn up for the beginning of discussions on Friday in Istanbul, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has criticized Putin's move of not attending talks as a sign Moscow is not serious about ending the war. The Istanbul talks mark the first direct negotiations between the sides since March 2022. Ukraine's delegation will be led by Defense Minister Rustem Umerov with a mandate to pursue a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. Zelensky, who will also be absent from the peace talks, has called Putin's decision disrespectful to both Turkey and US President Donald Trump, who said no progress is possible without his own meeting with Putin. And dashing hopes for peace in Ukraine, US President Trump on Thursday said that there would be no progress on peace talks without a meeting between himself and Russian President Putin.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together. But we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
Well, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also downplayed expectations for a peace breakthrough in Russia-Ukraine talks. Talking to media in Istanbul, Rubio said he did not think there would be a breakthrough until Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin meet to discuss it directly.
But we came because we were told that there might be a direct engagement between the Russians and the Ukrainians. That was originally the plan. You all heard the same thing. That was not to be the case, or if it is, it's not at the levels we had hoped it would be at. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they have tremendous breakthrough tomorrow if they talk. But I frankly do not believe that we're going to have a breakthrough here until President Trump sits face to face with President Putin and determines what his intentions are moving forward.
Well, the father of an Israeli soldier killed during the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th called on the international community to act to free the hostages held in Gaza and for Hamas to return his son's remains. Ruby Chen's son, Itay Chen, was serving as a soldier when Hamas carried out its surprise cross-border assault through southern Israeli towns and military bases, sparking the conflict in Gaza. The dual U.S. citizen was believed to have been held hostage, but the Israeli military confirmed Itay's death in March of last year.
Before starting, I'd just like to thank Mrs. Lee for coming. My son is one of the 4 U.S. hostages still in Gaza. I am the father of Itay Chen. Itay is an American, German, Israeli citizen held in Gaza by Hamas for 587 days. If you look at the kid, he's a fun-loving kid. Didn't have much to care about. Loved basketball. Would have been watching a basketball game, the NBA, yesterday. Boy Scout counselor, has a loving girlfriend, 2 siblings. Resolution 2474 was adopted unanimously by all 15 members of the UN Security.
And moving on, the Federal Aviation Administration approved license modifications for the SpaceX Starship Flight 9 mission, including allowing it to increase the number of operations to up to 25 per year at Boca Chica in Texas. SpaceX will not be allowed to launch until the FAA either closes its Starship Flight 8 investigation or makes a return to flight determination, the FAA added in a statement. Well, the New York State Senate has adopted a resolution recognizing the 75th anniversary of the Indian Constitution, introduced by Senator Jeremy Cooney, the only Indian origin member in the Senate. The resolution celebrates India's democratic legacy and shared values with the U.S., including the foundational phrase, "We the people." Cooney reflected on his journey from an orphanage in Kolkata to public service in New York, expressing pride in his heritage. The resolution, passed in a formal ceremony attended by India's Consul General Binaya Pradhan, also highlights the importance of public awareness about India's constitutional and democratic traditions.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go.
And moving on, fugitive Nirav Modi's troubles have deepened once again. A UK court on Thursday rejected a fresh bail petition filed by Nirav Modi, who has been in London prison for nearly 6 years after losing his extradition battle to face fraud and money laundering charges in India. The bail plea was strongly opposed by the Crown Prosecution Service, which was assisted by a strong team from India's Central Bureau of Investigation. This was his 10th bail application. It may be recalled that Nirav Modi is a fugitive economic offender wanted for trial in India in a bank fraud case being probed by the CBI involving the defrauding of Punjab National Bank of 6,498.20 crore rupees. And the 2025 Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has commenced through Nepal with third country tourists, including 3 British nationals, beginning their pilgrimage via Simcote in Humla district. The journey leads to Mount Kailash and Mansarovar Lake. Sacred to Hindus, Buddhists and Jain pilgrims travel from Nepalganj to Simcote and then trek to Tibet via Hilsa or opt for the Kathmandu-Rasuva Gandhi Kerong route. Meanwhile, India's Ministry of External Affairs has resumed its official yatra after a COVID-induced pause, with routes via Lipulekh Pass in Uttarakhand and Nathula Pass in Sikkim. Nepal-based travel agencies have also opened bookings for Indian pilgrims, with packets starting at 1.8 lakh rupees. And Peru's Interior Ministry confirmed that a suspect in the killing of 13 miners in the northern district of Patas has been arrested in Colombia. The victims, who were working at a gold mine in northern Peru, were kidnapped and murdered by illegal miners tied to criminal gangs. The incident is part of a growing wave of violence fueled by battles for territorial control in mineral-rich regions. In response to the surge in violence, the Peruvian government has established a military base in Patas to restore order and deter further attacks. Authorities continue the investigation there. And Facebook parent company Meta Platforms asked a federal judge to throw out the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's case accusing it of an illegal social media monopoly, saying the agency failed to prove its case at a high-stakes antitrust trial. Well, at the trial, which began on April 14th in Washington, the FTC has sought to show that Meta, then known as Facebook, illegally dominated the market for social media platforms used to share updates with friends and family through its acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp. The FTC is seeking to unwind those deals, which occurred more than a decade ago. If granted, Meta's request for a ruling on the evidence so far would bring a quicker end to the case, though U.S. District Judge James Boasberg could decline to take it up. Meta is now presenting its own evidence at the trial, which may run into June. And on to some sports news now. Barcelona secured the 28th La Liga title on Thursday when they beat city rivals Espanyol 2-0. Espanyol were arguably the better side in the first half that was goalless, thanks to Barca goalkeeper Wojciech Szczesny, who made a brilliant save. Lamine Yamal opened the scoring in the second half with a brilliant curling effort before Fermin Lopez added another in the 95th minute to secure victory. The result moved Barcelona to 85 points, 7 ahead of second-placed Real Madrid with 2 games left to play. It caps a remarkable first season at Barca for coach Hansi Flick, as his side have won the La Liga and Copa del Rey double. They will be presented with a league trophy on Friday during a special celebration. And reigning javelin throw world champion Neeraj Chopra will spearhead a 4-front Indian challenge at the Doha Diamond League, which is scheduled to kick off on Friday. Asian Games silver medalist Kishore Jena will keep Neeraj company in the men's javelin throw event, while Parul Chaudhary will compete in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase event. Another Indian athlete, Gulbir Singh, is all set for his Diamond League debut when he takes to the tracks in the men's 5,000-meter race. This is the largest Indian contingent at any single Diamond League meet to date. Neeraj Chopra won the Doha leg of the Diamond League in 2023 and finished second last year. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world in the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both the Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm India-Pak from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.